For 2014, Yamaha refines its 450 motocross platform, the YZ450F. Yamaha engineers retain the YZ's distinctive rear-facing cylinder configuration, but deliver a host of changes to the 450 single. The exhaust now wraps around the engine, making it shorter and centralizing mass. The fuel tank has also been repositioned, with the gas cap now tucked beneath the seat. The chassis has been trimmed down to accommodate the changes, and the bike is more slender now at the shrouds. The tuning fork brand stuck with the traditional Kayaba suspension, with a few tweaks to jive with the new frame and boost performance. The transmission has also been updated with altered gear ratios to lengthen the power band and increase power in second and third gear. It's a pretty substantial reworking of Yamaha's 450 Thumper. To see how it translates to the track, Yamaha invited us out to Zaca Station, where test rider and motocross racer Chris C. put the YZ450F to the test.
And the bike definitely is much different, but the breaking news with MotoUSA is it also feels similar in a lot of areas. For 2014, they definitely made refinements to the bike that fixed a lot of the quirks that the 2013 had. The big thing for this year was centralizing the mass. You feel it on the bike. It is definitely feels very planted. It does not feel like the weight's too far forward, too far back. Feels like it's right in the middle underneath you. It's a good feeling, feels great. This thing definitely packs a punch on the bottom end. It is really strong from quarter throttle. It has a very strong mid-range, goes all the way into the top end. And much like the 2013, it does sign off a little bit on the top and seems to hit a spot where it will not build, but you definitely have to really push it up there to find it. With the new transmission, with their second and third gear being closer together, I definitely like that. I could use third gear a lot more on the sweeper corners and roll on the throttle, and it picked it up. In many areas, like sitting on the bike, it still has that Yamaha feel. The cockpit still feels like the 2013. They changed the frame and made it 14 millimeters thinner over last year. You definitely feel it on the higher portion of the bike, like right knee height. I will say sliding back on the bike, it's almost like where the new side panel is, it almost locks you in like, hey, don't go any farther back, which is good for me because when I got tired in a moto, I was like, hey, dummy, get back on the front of the bike. This bike definitely is responsive to being on the front end, and you definitely have to get your weight on that front tire to get it to bite. I think that was definitely improved with the new characteristic of moving the motor and the mass and the changing the head angle. It definitely helps it turn. Another cool thing Yamaha did was for the suspension this year, they changed the upper fork tube to have a different taper. What basically that does, it makes a different flex on the bike, and you can definitely feel it in the rougher sections of the track, like high speed. You can feel the front end almost flex instead of be real rigid. It's basically just more of a feedback to the rider. Instead of taking so much with your hands and your body, the frame would absorb more of the bump. I definitely think we need to spend a lot more time with it and compare it against the other 450s, but I think their improvements that they made to the 2014 are definitely substantial, and it helps the bike a lot.